James Harden is having another night where he's like 2 for 15 from three, but he had like 4 and 1s during the game because anytime he goes to the paint, it's easy.
Yeah, but they're going to encourage him to keep shooting 17
Exactly.
threes.
So that's what I'm saying. Eventually, one of these nights, he's just going to be on fire. He's going to have like 60.
Yeah, 60-point game is that.
So for the second half of the show, we're going to talk about free agency.
Oh! That's my favorite.
I have the top free agents, and we're going to give our predictions of where they're going to sign. Who's got the first prediction for Kevin Durant's free agency season? Probably the entirety.
Knicks.
I think he's going to stay with the Warriors. I think they're going to max him and Clay this summer.
Yeah, I got him going to the Knicks.
I was thinking,
No disrespect to RJ.
I was thinking Brooklyn. It's
either one of those New York
it's
teams.
the package.
Kawhi Leonard, I got him going to the Clippers, though.
I got him staying in Toronto.
Me too.
I think there was too much there, like the camaraderie and everything of that team. I feel like it's just
3,
beautiful.
2, 1, up top.
I got him going.
I got him going to the Clippers.
I feel like he doesn't.
Kyrie Irving.
Brooklyn.
I'm saying,
I
wonder.
think we saw that that's not.
I wonder if that
the
plays a
best.
part in his decision making. If he sees the consensus around the league that he can't do it by himself, that may influence him to go somewhere
Like
in LA.
Yeah.
My prediction is Brooklyn. Like I said, I think it's going to be a package deal. Jimmy Butler. He's declined his player option. He's a free agent. I believe, I'll throw mine out there, I think he's going to take the max in Philly. I think he stays.
I think he's resigning.
Yeah.
I got him resign. I think he just fits that big brother role for that team so well.
Yeah.
Especially what he did for them in the playoffs.
I don't know. Something in me telling me something left field going to happen. The Heat going
With
to make
Jimmy
some
Butler?
moves. And
The Heat did say they were looking at him.
Try to get him or something like that.
DeMarcus Cousins, which is a very interesting case because many things can happen here. My prediction is that he resigns with the Warriors for one more year.
Yeah, I think he's going to do another 1-year deal with the Warriors.
I say the Warriors or the Lakers 1-year deal.
Would you?
He resigned to the Warriors.
Next guy's Tobias Harris. I think he's going to the Pacers. I think it'd be a good fit.
I'll say Brooklyn.
See, what makes it hard?
Yeah.
I think Tobias will be a great fit for Brooklyn.
Vucevic. I think he resigns.
I got Mavericks.
No, I don't. I think Horford is going to the Mavericks. So I think he does resign.
I think Vucevic is going to go.
How about Chris Middleton?
I think he's going to resign.
I also think he's going to resign to a max or close to it.
Because that loyalty.
Close to
He
it.
wants the max.
Close to it.
So if he don't get the max, I'm going to say Hawks. No, I'm just joking. I'll go Bucks.
Next guy's Julius Randle. I literally don't know what the market for Julius Randle is
I
going to
think
be like.
he might be a Knick. We might get him on a short-term deal.
I could
wouldn't be surprised.
definitely see that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Which is not bad.
Where's Melo going?
I don't think there's a
Australia?
market. There's no market for Melo.
So, you know what? Blazers. Y'all better call him on that.
Today we want to talk about players that we believe could be breakout players for this upcoming season. System here. My number one guy that I think has the highest possibility to break out this season is Darius Garland. He had a terrible rookie season, like advanced statistically, yada yada. Second season he was significantly better. I think at Vanderbilt he only played a handful of games. He came back his sophomore year, he was killing, he was hooping. So I don't know about the team success overall, but I do think year number 3 for Darius Garland is probably going to be a solid one, solid enough that it might wake some people up because he plays in Cleveland and people aren't really watching Cleveland. And they've been bad for a few years now, so people aren't really watching because of that. But he's going to have some highlight plays. He's going to play really solidly, and I think he averaged like 16 or 17 last season. I think that could easily go up to a 20. Desmond Bane. If I'm looking at Summer League as any kind of indication, it seems like they want the ball in his hands a lot more than his rookie season. He showed a lot of playmaking in Summer League that could translate over, and I just think his ass know how to hoop, bro.
I got DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray's another one of mine.
Yeah.
Had a career year last year, and I think with DeMar DeRozan's departure and the fact that they didn't really bring anybody significant, that it can only go in the right direction. Last year was the first year he shot double-digit shot attempts. I can continue to see that go up. I think he can be a 20-point scorer next year. We all know DeJounte Murray, he hangs his hat on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
So if he can even become close to being a 20-point scorer, I can only imagine. Another guy I got, bro, is Kyle Kuzma.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I see a lot of jokes with Kyle Kuzma and everything, which can be funny and everything. But I still think Kyle Kuzma, can hoop. And I think a lot of the shit with Kyle Kuzma was the fact that he played on the team that he played on. Like, he has the most weirdest career trajectory. Like, he came out of the gate as like a 15, 16 point
His ass was
scorer.
killing in that summer league. I remember summer league. He was
MVP.
He didn't deserve to be there.
Hit at the time.
They went backwards with him. His minutes went down. His shot attempts went down. Free throw attempts went down. So obviously the scoring went down.
Bro.
And as a
The GM stuff, KB.
Front office stuff. Ty Lue, 5-year deal to become the head coach of the Los Angeles Clippers. He's been on the coaching staff, but now he is the head coach. I personally don't really have an opinion. I was gonna say congratulations. I don't know if Ty Lue is a good coach or average coach or back. I literally don't know. He's a fan. I mean, he's a player coach, which I think may be the reason why they promoted him, because they need some stability in the locker room. But I guess for me, I'm just gonna have to wait and see.
The article I read said that he was a more defensive. He had better adjustments than Doc Rivers. So I guess that was the intel on that. But I said the same thing. I was like, is he really that much better of a coach than Doc Rivers?
I'm
like,
giving him the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna just give him the benefit. Not that he's better than Doc, but I'm gonna label him as a good coach, because I mean, a lot of other coaches get the label and they was in the same situation. Like, it's like fucking Steve Kerr. He has the Warriors, but nobody's questioning like if Steve Kerr is a good coach. I don't know. He's had more seasons, but Tyronn Lue made the finals every year, even when they had those bogus ass rosters with the Cavs. He was making the finals and putting up a fight. So something has to be good there. Like, we have to give him some type of credit. We're not just gonna be like,
I think it's kind of a LeBron effect.
But how many coaches can we say has the effect? Because like a lot of coaches have these players like LeBron. Like I'm saying, like
how much coaching does it really take to lead a LeBron team to the finals when all you really have to do is give him the ball and tell the other dudes shoot threes and play defense?
How much did it take from Steve Kerr to have that? We saw Steve Kerr left and
but we see the Warriors with like a legit system, and then like they have ball movement, play.
How much of a system do you have to have when you have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Kevin Durant? That's a system in its damn
but they
self.
did that before Kevin Durant got there.
Huh?
They did that before Kevin Durant got there. They literally ran the same system with KD.
Exactly, but you throw them in there, and what the hell?
And I see what they do have that system, but yeah, I feel like I could damn near lead a team with fucking KD, Steph, and Klay Thompson to the final.
I don't think you're giving a credit to coaches.
Okay, I'm exaggerating, but you get what I mean. Like, it doesn't take the brightest coach to
Luke Walton did well. Luke Walton did very well.
Remember,
it's also it's player management, it's rotations, and that's one of the reasons Doc got fired, because of his rotations. So it's a lot that goes into it. I understand what Pierre's saying, but I understand what Derek is saying too.
It's a real test with Tyronn Lue, because this is a team that needs coaching. It's not like with the Cavs where he just let LeBron do everything. You have to actually coach this thing. Even though they do have Kawhi and Paul George, you still see, even with Doc Rivers, a Hall of Fame coach, that they need coaching.
That's a great point, Mike. So what would you say about Frank Vogel, Derek, with LeBron now? Do you feel like that was just LeBron and Anthony Davis, or you think Frank Vogel gets any credit for that at all?
No, he did, because he had good rotational decisions where he adjusted to what was going on. How he put Markieff in the starting lineup when they were playing the Rockets, and then he played big against the Nuggets. So like he did certain things where you could be like, okay, he sees and he adjusted to what they were actually.
And you don't think Tyronn Lue did any of that when they came back from 3-1? You think they just rolled the ball out there and LeBron and Kyrie just did everything? Like, he don't get, because he not only did he win championship, he came back from 3-1.
Yeah,
he did. But you can give him some credit. But most of the credit goes to LeBron and Kyrie.
Well, most of the credit goes to LeBron, regardless, wherever he goes. But I'm just saying, like, you was able to just tip your cap.
And also, LeBron and Kyrie came out and played historical basketball.
They did, and they're going to. Like, Anthony Davis and LeBron just did some historical shit too. Like, they're going to do that.
Because both of y'all are right. I think both of y'all are right now, and I like this conversation.
I just don't want to. I I hate when like we give one person one thing and we don't. Like I'm not saying.
So
nothing.
the only thing I would say about that is like even though I remember watching the series, I don't know if I was watching attentively enough to really realize like, oh, okay, they're doing this differently. And I know for sure with this last championship, the Lakers were doing things differently every single day.
That's
I would have to rewatch the other series.
But you see how you just said that? I would accept that answer better than you just saying he don't get no credit. Like Derek is saying he's talking as if he just watched it and he just saying, instead of saying, man, I don't know. You're saying you don't know. Derek is saying Ty Lue can't get no credit. That's just LeBron. But I'm gonna give Frank Vogel credit. If you don't know, then just say you don't know. But to say you can't give that man no credit at all is mind blowing to me. That's ludicrous. You can't just say you're giving Frank Vogel credit. Oh, he did this and that. But LeBron and Kyrie was historical, and that's just that. I gotta believe. I have to believe in my heart that somewhere there, Tyronn Lue gets some credit. He has to. 3-1 in the finals against the greatest team ever. That was a team that won 73 games. Like, he has to get some credit, Derek. He has to, bro.
He does, but I see.
And I'm not saying he has to be the greatest coach, but I'm just saying, like, we just like backhanding him. I think that's disrespectful.
But on this though, for Frank Vogel, you could see the defensive adjustments that we're gonna trap Damian Lillard. We're gonna do this. We seen all that though. Like it actually stood out.
I would bet you some money right now, any type of money, Mike. You go back and watch that final series, and maybe I've just watched it a little more recent than y'all have, but you will see some adjustments. You're going to see Tristan Thompson play that pick and roll a lot more different than he was previously in that series. You're going to see Kevin Love play a little bit more differently on the defensive end on that switch on Steph Curry. You're going to see some adjustments because you can't just win 3-1 and you're just saying LeBron pushes there, because that team was historically, that's a 73-win team. If that was the case, they would have never got down 3-1. If we being honest, like they didn't go down 3-1 and Steph Curry broke his ankle and like that, it was a miracle. They went out and they beat him. I know Draymond had the suspension, but like they still went out, they hooped, they did their thing. And I think it comes from some adjustments being made. And then majority of the credit is going to go to LeBron. But I think the Clippers do have a chance to be better.
I was asked who my sleeper team was for this year's playoffs, and why I don't think there might be a sleeper team to win it all. There's definitely a team out there that I think can surprise some people. I think this team can be similar to last year's Atlanta Hawks, the team that started off slow, got hot, and found themselves in the conference finals. Well, my nominee is the Boston Celtics. And I know that's kind of wild because they blew a 25-point lead to the Knicks early in the season, 19 to the Cavs, and 19 to the Bulls. So what has changed since then for me to believe that they could go on a deep run? The defense is elite, ladies and gentlemen. First-year coach Ime Udoka had been experimenting a lot in the first half of the season, trying to figure out the right rotations and right defensive schemes. And what they found out was Time Lord Robert Williams is low-key a demon as a help defender. For the vast majority of Robert Williams' career, he's been assigned to just guard the opposing center. Well, now he's playing like a little free safety. He's holding down the corner, switching on to guards, and just covering so much ground. And while, yes, I do love a crazy shot from Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, I'm more fascinated with the way Robert Williams plays defense. Well, I guess the way the whole team plays defense, because Marcus Smart is still locked in. The new acquisition, Derek White, is one of the better perimeter defenders in the league, and everybody has decided that defense is the way they're going to win games. And while the offense hasn't necessarily caught up with the defense, I know when the playoffs comes around, we talk about a slower pace and a more ISO-heavy game. And who has some of the best ISO players in the league? The Boston Celtics do, with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Listen, I don't know if Marcus Smart going to shoot 38% from three once we get to the playoffs like he is on his current streak, but regardless, him, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, and Robert Williams is the best five-man lineup in the entire league. And if they can carry that on to the playoffs, they might be a tough out, man.
I think a lot of Philadelphia 76ers fans are happy or may have seen me talk about it. And it's not that James Harden is a bad basketball player, he's a Hall of Famer. It's just that for me, when you've had the amount of success you've had without Ben and without Harden, just Joe, there's so many name chases that we keep seeing not be what we think it is because you're chasing a name versus what. But I get it. You know, I get Daryl Morey going for his guy.
I think I push back on that just a little.
Best name. When you think about, you just said the fit. That's because of who James Harden is. James Harden is a guy that when everything doesn't revolve around him, that's a fact that he is disengaged. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. We saw when he started playing with other guys who would command the basketball, like a Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, even in Brooklyn. It's just it's one thing to be effective, but to be totally disengaged is wild. When Joel Embiid is going, you have to take advantage of his double team. This is a guy that when he doesn't have the basketball, he's staying at the hash. He's already going back on defense. He's just his hands is in his shirt type of shit. And that is very, very problematic when you have such a dominant big man, because you literally have to take advantage of double and triple teams of Joel Embiid. And if he's not going to be engaged, that's a problem. The first 5 to 10 games, the first moments with Philly, he's going to be very engaged. That's why I said it's going to take a while to judge. But when it starts to get out of the honeymoon stage and it sets in, is James Harden going to be okay with everything not revolving around him? Because on the outside or on the early parts, it may just be like, oh, Joel he's a big, he don't have to have the ball. I'll be the main guard. But you got to take advantage of Joel Embiid having the basketball. And that was always my thing. So I'm very curious to see how it's going to work in the long term. Mm-hmm. That's why I keep stressing, don't not judge or look at this trade from a 5-10 game last stretch of the season. It's going to be long term, because the goal is to win a championship, which is what you just said. They went and got the best player available to put them in a championship thing. So that's how I'm going to judge them. Like what you said. There is a possibility that this worked and they win, and if they do, I'm gonna give them all their credit. I'm gonna walk back everything I'm saying about James and the potential fit. But if it don't work, I'm also gonna say that I was right, and I'm gonna say that we need to start looking at basketball, not accolades, not names, not shoe deals, not none of that. We have to start looking. I'm trying to.
I saw him smile in the very first game, so. That's promising for James.
But my basketball intellect just don't let me fall for bait like that.
Just because it's too soon.
I mean, it's one game.
Yeah, yeah. No,
you know what I mean?
Gotta take
it's one game. I know that they're gonna be good, but like I said, for them and Brooklyn, I can't. We can't fall for this little shit, because the goal ain't to beat the Timberwolves or to win 5 in a row. These moves were made to win championships. Guys complain, cried, and baby their ways out of situations. Multiple guys, and it's to be comfortable and to win and to do all these things that they say. So now it's time to win, man. It's time to win. So that's what I'm concerned about. Like I said, when the trade first happened, even if they lost 10 in a row, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's going to be about the playoffs. Now, 10 in a row is a little crazy. If you lose 10 in a row after making these trades, that's a little wild. But the point is championship or bust. Like, who gives a fuck?
I do like the look in the eye, and it is that honeymoon phase, but I like the look that Philly got in their eye. They look like they motivate them to it.
I don't like it for them, because I haven't seen them play against anybody that I think is really the people that they're going to go against. This team was put together to win a championship. So the fact that they beat the Sixers, I mean, they beat the Knicks and Timberwolves and the Cavs
they played the
last
Heat
night.
They played the Heat.
That's
today.
what I want to see. I want to see a team against them in a 7-game.
And it's not even on TV.
In a 7-game series where they can key in on their flaws and have an actual.
Yep.
What game is on TV tonight? Laurie didn't play either.
And again, it's no hate. It's no hate to Philly, because I think they are good. But for me, as a person who's realistic and I know what they were put together for, I'm trying my best to not fall in this honeymoon stage like the rest of the world, because at some point they're going to have to play against real competition in a 7-game setting. Which is usually where you're going to get, the
your
toughest.
True definition of the team.
Yeah, the toughest. It's easier to take advantage of Matisse Thybulle being out there on the floor when you're preparing for it for a 7-game series.
I like
George
they just don't play defense at that same time.
And that's the thing I like, because I wouldn't be surprised if we seen them play against like the Heat, and the Heat forced them to have to play George Niang more minutes than Matisse Thybulle. Just because if Matisse Thybulle is hurting you that much offensively, he better be doing some crazy shit defensively, which he can. Yeah. We was in there talking about the 76ers, and I was telling people like, the young kids call it hating or whatever. But when I've been watching the Sixers, I've been waiting for the moment to see their weakness and see the bad things about them, because I'm not going to fall for the honeymoon stage. I know Sixer fans I was loving when they was beating up on my Knicks and the Timberwolves and shit like that. But this trade was made for them to win a championship. You know what I mean? They was making the playoffs with Ben. So this making the playoffs ain't going to satisfy them. And, I think a lot of people was taking that the wrong way. Sixer.
Thank you.
That don't stop the fact that this team is not what people made them be in a honeymoon. Like, this team will have flaws. This team will have issues. And that's what I was waiting to see them in adversity, because I felt like them games where they had us, it was, like I said, the honeymoon stage. There was games we kind of predicted that they would win against the Knicks and things like that. And the perimeter shooting, the consistency has always been my thing.
The perimeter defense too was so bad.
Tobias Harris' rhythm has been a big part for me, because
he tried to catch fire.
in games
Well, the
like that
thing
they're
is,
gonna need him.
I mean, when James wasn't doing the goddamn thing, Tobias was like, okay, I got to do
was
something.
trying,
yeah.
And he was better.
He was trying.
He was trying.
Yeah, and I feel like Tyrese Maxey was kind of looking like James Harden.
He was stuck in the middle.
Yeah, he
Yes.
was kind of like James Harden, do your thing, and James Harden just kind of like
Do your thing.
do your thing.
And that's the thing about James Harden that I like. Don't get me wrong, I like James Harden, but the more and more I've seen, especially over the last couple of years, I feel like I was tricked and bamboozled. This is a guy that I was speaking very highly of, better than Wade, could be one of the best because of the things he was doing in Houston. But now when you start to see things, trends, it kind of is who you are. He kind of does fold in these pressure moments.
The big time moments there's not a lot of big time moments in James Harden's
When that
career.
intensity steps up, it seems like he kind of folds.
And you know what?
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid of this James Harden shit. He looks amazing in every start. Every new fresh look, he looks amazing when he's engaged. But what is it going to look like when they down
When shit hit
15
the
to a top team, and that team is on their ass, and adversity is at their front door, and they down 2-3?
About what team?
They almost had 3 guys on that loose ball. And a steal by Adebayo.
Go talk, yeah. Go talk, yeah. Go talk, my nigga. This go talk.
Go talk, go talk, go talk, my nigga. That's go talk.
Go talk, go talk, go talk, my nigga. Is go talk.
Go talk. Go talk. Go talk. My nigga, it is go talk.